How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the SPEAKHYVE Podcast. If you are new here, my name is Jared Scott. I'm a professional speaker. I've booked over 1,000 paid gigs in my career. And on this podcast, I interview extraordinary people who have extraordinary stories. And today I am with Tia Banks. Tia, do you mind telling the people a little bit about yourself real quick?
Yeah, so my name's Tia Banks. I am a resilience expert, former pro athlete, and now I'm a mountaineer, so I climb and hike mountains.
So what inspired you to become a speaker, and how did your message evolve to being mainly about resilience?
So as a former pro athlete, so I played professional basketball, and then I played professional flag football.
Nice.
And it's a sport. And
I like how you added in there.
I just need to say it. It's
a sport. Yeah.
You know, I was selected top 24 flag football players in the country, receivers, to try out for Team USA. And so they flew me to Chula Vista, California, tried out for the team. I didn't make it, but I still played, and I got selected for another USA team. And so I'm at the height of my career, 15 years invested, and I'm about to make a lot of money. And one tournament changed it all. Like, I ended up having a grade 5 cartilage tear in my right knee. And I know I look young, Jared, but that body's a little old, right? So I couldn't bounce back. And so I think as athletes, our identity is tied to that sport. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, who else am I besides an athlete? And so I had to do a lot of self-discovery. And in that, I did something that you don't see a lot of Black people do: hike. I got outside, and I came from hiking one day, and I said to myself, like, I want to do something different, something that my family has never done. Mm-hmm. I want to climb the highest freestanding mountain in the world.
Okay, wait, where did this idea come from, though?
Right.
You just, like, one day, you were like, I'm just going to climb a mountain?
Okay, so the truth is, like, in my self-discovery, I got connected with God. I started to do a lot more prayer. I started to do a lot more meditation. And so I came from a meditation, wrote in my journal, I want to climb the highest freestanding mountain in the world. It just really came out of nowhere. I say it's a message from God, because no one in my family has ever hiked.
There's something about the solitude up there.
Yeah.
Something about Moses up on the mountain. Like, it's a reoccurring theme, to connect with God.
It is. You have to be called to a mountain. Mm-hmm. And so I think God called me to the highest freestanding mountain in the world, and I didn't even know where it was. I did the research, and I'm like, this mountain is in Africa. Wait a minute, this mountain is 19,341 feet.
Wait, hold up. So you decided that you were going to do something, and you didn't even know where the destination was?
I had no clue.
No clue. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, so I did the research, and I'm like, well, how long is it going to take me to hike this mountain? I found 7 days. It takes 7 days to climb to the top of this mountain. I did my research. I looked up guide companies. I looked up, well, what does it take to get in high altitudes? Because, in Texas, we're at sea level. Yeah. So this doesn't train my lungs. And so I had to train my body in a different way than what I was used to, because I'm used to sprinting. I'm used to, catching balls and shooting them. Mm-hmm. But hiking and having the heart endurance, it's another level of training. And so in training my body, I had to train my mind differently too.
What was like that? What was the process of training?
Yeah, so there's a trail called Cedar Ridge Nature Preserve. Uh-huh. It's not too far from here. And I would hike for hours. So I started out with 1 hour. And I would go every week. And then I gradually went to 4 hours. And it gave me like a little bit of elevation, right? But I'm just getting used to like what it feels like to get my legs and my back carrying weight up a mountain. And so I would do that. I did the stair climber, the elliptical. I did everything that I knew that I could, and then including like YouTube. Like what should I do via YouTube to train my body for this mountain? I also hired a breathing coach.
Other than that, you had any professionals like helping you step by step in this process?
So I hired a breathing coach, and doing breathing exercises for an hour, that was a whole nother level of mental resilience, because we're used to breathing a certain way, like a natural way. But when you have to really dig deep in your diaphragm, like I thought I was going to pass out many times.
I hear people like hallucinate and stuff when you do breathing exercises for a really long time.
Yeah, that never happened to me.
No.
But you definitely, you feel like you might lose some bit of consciousness.
Okay.
And so, but having an expert there to train me on how I should breathe, it prepared me for when I would climb that mountain.
Is there some like healing attached to that? You know, people talk about those breathing exercises to get rid of like these past traumas, negative emotions, and things like that. Yeah. And just like some sort of peace coming from these breathing exercises. Did you experience any of that at all?
I'll be honest. I wasn't focused on how is this going to heal me. I was focused on the summit. Yeah. Like that was my only. It's just like winning a game. Like I'm just focused on winning the game. I don't care how I have to train. I'm going to train. And I think that was my mentality.
So how long did you train?
I had this vision in 2018. Mm-hmm. I trained in 2019. Like I just kept having the vision and I just kept writing it down, but I didn't really take action and execute until 2019.
What were you doing at the time, like in your normal life?
Yeah.
Because you weren't a speaker yet, right?
No, I was not.
So what was your day-to-day like when you're having this dream and vision of this mountain? So
my day-to-day was I worked for an auto finance company. Okay. And I was a credit underwriter. I had a regular schmegular job, a 9 to 5. I just knew that there was more that I wanted in life. Like approving people to get a car, that just did not seem like my purpose. Yeah. And I think that's maybe why I got injured, because I needed to go through that self-discovery. I needed to ask family and friends, what could you see me doing outside of this regular job or being an athlete? I had to like ask myself some real self-reflective questions, and it led me to the mountain. It led me to preparing for a mountain, and not just a real mountain, but like the mountain of speaking.
Did you have a support system and people around you that actually believed you could do this, or were people telling you, no, don't go?
No one ever said no.
That's awesome.
You know, it is actually, I lied to you. Yes, one person said no, and it was somebody that I invited. It was one of my really, really good friends at the time. In fact, I asked 20 of my best friends. I'm like, hey, let's go climb a mountain. I didn't want to go by myself. Like, let's go climb the highest freestanding mountain in the world. And one of my best friends at the time was like, you'll be lucky if you get 10% of that mountain, up that mountain.
Wow.
And this person said, which we're still friends today, because you got to give people grace.
Yeah.
She was just scared for herself, right? She projected how she felt about climbing that mountain onto me. I didn't feel that way. But at the time, I'm like, is this a friend that I need to be on the mountain if they already have doubt?
Yeah. No.
And so she, you know, politely evicted herself from that list. So yes, there were a couple people that said, no, you can't. And the 20 people that I asked, only one person went. And that was literally a last minute decision, like the
Which
day
is incredible.
before.
Just even one person is incredible if you really think about it.
Yeah.
This is like the highest mountain.
Yeah, the highest freestanding mountain in the world.
Freestanding mountain in the world. Yeah, so that's a real person. Whoever that person is, you better keep them close.
I know.
Whoever that is, they'll be listening, I'm sure. You are an incredible human being. Okay, so I just need to know the story, though. I need to know the story of when you climbed the mountain, that 7-day journey. Like, this is for me. I need to know the story.
Okay. So 7 days. Mm-hmm. The moment that I got on the plane at JFK Airport, I got really sick. Like, my whole body was extremely fatigued, which is rare for me. Like, I'm not a Tylenol person. I'm like the sea moss. I take the minerals. But I got sick. Like, I'm sweating on the plane, and I'm cold, and I got the shakes. And I'm like, what's happening to my body? Because, by the way, this is just a year after COVID. So I'm developing these COVID symptoms. Okay. So I get to customs. They give me the COVID test, and it's negative. But my symptoms start to get worse. So by the time we get to the mountain, we get to the base of the mountain, we're hiking for hours. And I can feel how the altitude is affecting my body. It's making my cough worse. I've got this cough, runny nose, sweating even more. I'm feeling even more drained and fatigued, and we've only been hiking for 3 hours. So by the time we get to the campsite, I look at my guide, and I'm struggling to breathe. I'm like, I need oxygen now. And he looks at me, and he's just like, his name is Valet. Valet's like, Dada, which means sister in Swahili. He says, Dada, do you have asthma? Because he's concerned this is only day 1 of 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, brother. But I know what it feels like to need oxygen. I can't breathe.
Yeah.
So he gets oxygen. He puts the mask on my face. And I just remember thinking, like, my family's going to be proud of me, even if I don't make it to the, like, if I don't keep going, they'll still be proud. At least I got to this point. Like, I'm coaching myself out of not making the same decision that I made when God showed me this vision.
Yeah.
And I'm like, looking at everybody else, like, nobody else is struggling. They eating cantaloupe, pancakes, having a good time. And I'm sitting here with this oxygen mask on my face, contemplating if I'm going to keep hiking this mountain. So I think, like, we experience doubt in life. I doubted my ability because I had never done this before. But you asked about my training. So I actually hired a mental performance coach in addition to a breathing coach. And it really is just like cognitive flexibility. It's a resilience skill. It's reframing your thinking to go from, man, I'm not going to make it, to I can't breathe, but I have oxygen. Bringing yourself into the present moment to say, all right, now that I can breathe, I have a decision to make. Can I keep going? Yes. Yes, I can. I'm going to keep making this decision to keep hiking. And so I did. The oxygen reached my lungs. Day 2, I'm like, all right, let's go. Put that backpack on. 8 hours of hiking. Day 3, let's go. Put that backpack on. 9 hours of hiking.
I assume it got harder and harder each day.
The climate changed.
Yeah.
It got colder. So much to where you could look into the distance and see glaciers, right? And the cough is getting worse because now I'm well above sea level. I'm 13,000 feet above sea level. And a nurse actually told me, you probably should stop because I had mountain sickness. Yeah. And I don't know, Jared, it's something that athlete came back. Yeah. It's like, no, Tia, you made this decision. It's just adversity. You've been here before. Keep going, keep deciding, keep making a step.
Did you ever get to the point where you're like, I'm going to do this or die trying?
I did.
That's what it seems
Absolutely.
Like. Yeah.
It might seem crazy, but that's how much I wanted the summit of that mountain.
Yeah.
And so, I believe that, like, God will put you on mountains that you think, man, I'm not sure that I'm equipped to climb this mountain, the mountain of depression, this mountain of grief. But you're there for a reason. I was assigned that mountain to show somebody else it could be climbed.
So that was the point of the summit to you?
That was the point of the summit to me. And just like you had referenced Moses, like, God called me onto that mountain, not anybody else. So I kept taking steps. And there was a moment, Jared, I remember this was summit night. We had been hiking for at least 10 hours through the night. And I laid on the ground when we were resting. Like, my guide said, let's take a break. And as soon as he said that, I threw my bag and I just laid down. And he ran over to me, said, get up. Don't you ever do that again. Because I was thinking about rolling down the mountain. I'm like, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
So, but he pulled me out of what I was feeling because he could tell, right? And so it was just a matter of continuing to make those decisions. Day 7, we made it to the summit of that mountain.
What was that feeling like?
Were
you able to enjoy it because there's still this journey down? Like, what were you thinking in that moment?
I was so glad that I kept deciding.
Yeah.
I was so glad that I didn't give up. But still, like, my body didn't just all of a sudden feel better.
Yeah.
I think, like, in a picture, I was just like this, shriveled up. My hands, like, the tips of my fingers had frostbite. And I'm just like, let's just get down this hill. Where's the helicopter? Like, I was looking around for a plane. And so I asked my guide, because, again, I'd never hiked a mountain. I said, how are we getting down?
Yeah.
And he said, hold on. He puts his arm out, and he's like, hold on. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, we got to hike down back to base camp. So I put my arm in his, locked in, and it was like we had skis on our hiking boots.
It took days again to get back down, right?
Yeah, so when you hike this mountain, there are 9 different routes that you can take.
Mm-hmm.
I took what's called the Lemosho route, which is gradually goes up, versus the Machame route, which goes straight up, which has the lowest success rate. So I took the route that has the highest success rate, but it takes the longest.
Yeah.
So you come up and then you go down. So it only took us a day.
And there's so many lessons that parallel to life
Yeah.
in every single aspect of climbing a mountain. So after you climb this mountain, this is when you become a speaker, like almost immediately, because you saw the parallels. Like tell me how that came to be.
Yeah, so when I came down from the mountain, I wrote my experience in a journal, and I turned it into a book, Mind Over Mountains. And I'm like, all right, I want to be more than just working for an auto finance company doing credit. So remember, I had asked my friends and family, what could you see me doing besides being an athlete or doing this job? And people would say, you should be like a life coach.
Yeah.
You should be a speaker. You motivate people. And so I leaned into that. When I came down from the mountain, I wrote the book. When I came from the mountain, I created like a affirmations album that's on iTunes and Apple. And then I started to do open mic nights because I'm a poet.
Okay.
And so I would go into open mic nights and I would turn my poetry into motivation. My first audience was an open mic audience, 50 people in a lounge.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
50 people in a lounge. And then I'm like, well, where else can I go? And that's when I joined Next Level Speakers Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And they helped me get a little bit more clear on an audience.
Yeah.
Now I'm in schools.
And why did you choose schools?
I feel like I needed somebody to tell me, you're more than an athlete. Like, give your reason why for living some options. And so I want to be that person.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the student athlete who thinks that the only way that they can get out of the hood or the projects is through basketball. Like, no, give your why some options. You're great at other things. Mm-hmm. That's why I chose schools.
And this is your brand, right?
Yeah, Pole Pole.
So tell me what that means.
So Pole Pole, it means slowly, slowly in Swahili.
Okay.
So when we were hiking that mountain, everyone would say Pole Pole. And that means, for me, run the race you can, go the pace that you can to get to the summit of that mountain, to get to the goal, to get to graduation. Pole Pole, not comparing your journey to somebody else like Jared Scott. Amazing, incredible speaker.
Look, I got chills from that.
I see it.
Pole.
Yeah,
no,
Pole.
It's incredible. Speaker to speaker, it's not easy to build a speaking business. I doubt you had like success right out of the gate, right? I mean, or maybe you did. I don't know. So tell me about that. How is climbing a mountain like building a speaking business?
So when you think about mountains, there's highs and lows. My first year of speaking, I think I made $1,000. So it was a high moment for me. I'm like, I made $1,000.
And you're probably still like ahead of 50% of speakers in their first year. We normally
Really?
lose money. I lost money my first year for sure. I didn't make no money.
Oh, well, okay.
That's pretty good.
But I was excited about $1,000, and it was
Yeah.
a virtual 2-hour session for women entrepreneurs, which wasn't even my target, right? But I'm just excited. And I should have known, Jared, when the organizer called me and I told him it's going to be $500 an hour. And he was like, okay, cool. Send us the invoice. I should have charged more.
Yeah.
But you learn on mountains.
Yeah, you had no reference point at that point.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, okay, maybe I need to price my value differently. And I have 15 years of experience in corporate America at that point.
That's an important point right there for a lot of people listening, is even after climbing this mountain, doing things that normal people can't do,
Yeah.
you still didn't see that much value in yourself as a speaker. Isn't that crazy to think? You know, I just did this crazy thing that nobody can do, and I have this perspective that most people don't.
Yeah, it was new.
Yeah.
You know, so if you put me on a football field or you put me in a gym, and I know my value, like I need to be in the starting lineup. I need to be in the starting 5. But because being a speaker was new, my confidence wasn't there. And so I think, like, as a new or aspiring speaker, like, you just have to hike the stages of confidence, like building your confidence by getting more reps in. When I think about this journey as a speaker, I can be real transparent. I think some people, they fall in love with the glory of being on stage. It's like they fall in love with the applause. But just like being in the middle of a mountain, like, you don't see the applause. Nobody's clapping for you. Nobody's giving you trophies.
Yeah.
So how do you show up in spite of?
Yeah.
And so, like, being resilient, you have to fall in love with the gutter
Yeah.
of disappointment.
I mean, if you really think about it as a speaker, even if you're speaking 80 times a year for an hour, you're speaking 80 hours out of that year. And that's a good year.
Yeah.
But that's only 80 hours of your time is actually spent on this stage. The rest of that whole year is climbing these mountains to get to the stage. So is there something that you would tell, like, somebody listening to this that wants to be a speaker might be like, that sounds really, really hard. That's a lot of work. Like, is there anything that you could tell them that could kind of reassure them early on in their career that this is going to be worth it?
I like that question. I think it's only worth it if you continue to make the decision to climb. If you can continue to make the decision to handle disappointment, because there's going to be mountains of disappointment. Yep. If you continue to do the outreach, just because nobody answered, be creative. Yep. You have to be a business owner as well, like, not just a speaker.
You kind of have to be more of a business owner
than a speaker. Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people get that kind of backwards. Yeah. This is a business, and you have to run it like a business, and you have to get really good at handling rejection. Is there something that you do personally that reassures you that, I'm not going to take this personal, this isn't just about me, because you do have to get hundreds of no's. And if you're doing a good amount of outreach, you could get hundreds of no's a day. Mm-hmm. Like, normal people don't have to deal with that level of rejection a day.
Can we talk about the rejection piece? I'll never forget. Yep. I think I was talking to you a few years ago, and you presented a speaking opportunity in North Carolina that you had passed on to me. And that was big for me. I'm like, this is my first out-of-state opportunity. And I followed up with you. I'm like, hey, what'd they say? And you're like, they said no, they went a different route. On to the next. Yeah. And it was easy for you. But I'm new. I'm like, what do you mean on to the next? I was betting on that. It hurt me for a long minute. Right? It took me a while. I was stuck in frustration. I'm like, well, what did I do? Now you're questioning yourself. Now I'm insecure. I've developed this insecurity. I'm not enough. And now these words of doubt, just like when I was on that mountain, made me think, am I really cut out for this? Yeah. You have to fight against that. And one thing that I do is I don't say, like, on to the next. I'm a woman. I'm going to feel how I feel. I'm mad. I'm going to cry. Let me get to that so I can self-regulate first. So I tell people, if you feel defeat, like, feel defeated and then defeat.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
I allow myself, dang, that opportunity didn't work out. Now
I get those all the time, so I didn't even think about it like that. Like, this you've never even told me this before, that you felt that way.
Because I was new. I had to develop that ability, and I have it, but sometimes the no's still hit. And when they do, I allow myself to be mad. Yeah. I allow myself to cry and be frustrated, and then I'm like, all right, I'm good. Like today.
My motto is, you can't say no to me if you don't know me. So I try the hardest that I possibly can to get a real answer of why they said no, right? Like, please, like, just tell me why. Because in the why, I've found so many, like, holes in my ship that I could fill and plug in where eventually, I'm not getting rejected as much.
Yeah. But can we keep it 100 on this podcast?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, your electric bill doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, your mortgage does not care. That car note does not care. So, like, the no's can hurt. Yeah. And being able to bounce back from the no's to say, I'm still going to show up. Okay, let me go back to the drawing board. What do I need to work on in my message? How much more vulnerable should I be? Because maybe they felt like the steps that I was giving, it didn't resonate. Like, you have to do self-reflection. Yeah. And that's what, like, to me, I'm trying to be Beyonce in this game. Yeah. I'm not trying to be the one-hit wonder. So when I get rejected now, how do I go back to the lab to better my speaking, to maybe better my pitch, to be a better business owner? Who do I need to add to my team? It's asking those questions so that you can bounce back.
So that's what you did. You went back and you went back to the lab and you made things work out.
Yeah.
And you created a better product.
Yeah.
You became undeniable, right? Yeah. And also you probably realized at some point, like, I just have to also get more no's to get more yeses. Yeah. If you're closing at 30% in your business, that might not be so bad in a speaking business, really. If you're having 10 calls and you're closing 3 of them, especially on a high-ticket product, that's not that bad. But you could call the first 7 people, and the first 7 people could tell you no, and then you quit. And the next 3 were going to be your yeses. And I think that's what a lot of speakers do. Like, it's very rare that you're going to call people and just get a yes right away. You're going to have to stick through the no's. It's not so much that you get thick skin, I don't think. I think it's just that you learn how to change your reaction, which then changes your reality.
Yeah, that's good.
You have to learn how to communicate and articulate this transformation that you're bringing clearer. Create frameworks. Create some steps and guide them through this process. Otherwise, they're just confused after the pitch. If you get one clear pitch, you get really clear with your message, one clear next step, we saw people start moving forward a lot faster.
No, that's beautiful. I love how you said framework.
Yeah.
Because Pole used to be an acronym. Mm-hmm. So I created an acronym off of this, right? But when I started to use the language of this is a framework, because I also created a framework based off of Pole and what it means to go slowly, or not compare your journey as a school district to another school district. Like, language is important, and you have to get no's to understand the language. How can you submerge yourself in understanding the educational conversation if the last time you were in education was college?
Yeah.
But I want to talk about a mountain that I hiked. It's called Pico de Orizaba, and it's the highest volcano in North America. And the first time I hiked this mountain was with a group of 3 other individuals who had never hiked this mountain. Long story short, we didn't make it to the top. The next year, I decided to go by myself with a guide who had summited that mountain multiple times. I changed my strategy. I changed the way I ate. I changed the way that I trained. I trained more of my legs, more of my back. I had a different strategy. So now, and then I used a different route. So I have like a better strategy, and I was able to get to the summit of that mountain by myself with a guide. So sometimes, like, we need the rejection, we need the failures, we need the no's so that we can go back to the drawing board, the lab, and re-strategize and prepare differently so that we can get to the summit of success.
Preparing differently, also surrounding yourself by different people.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this is a you mission.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're trying to take people with us that aren't supposed to be
with
us, you know?
Go
on a different route, you know? Like, there's so much there. So if you're talking to a speaker that's trying to get themselves in the industry, you know, how would you tell them to position themselves in the industry so they can actually get booked and be successful at this?
I think the first thing is just start speaking. Mm-hmm. You know, the way that you have a podcast, develop a podcast.
Yeah.
Go live on social media. Start speaking so that you can get used to speaking. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions. One thing that I started to do for myself is I position myself in conferences, like educator conferences. Now it's not open mic nights. I'm going to educator conferences, and I'm meeting educators, and I'm engaging with administrators, not just as the keynote speaker, but as an actual administrator, superintendent, principal. I'm looking at the lens that they're looking at. Yeah. So making those connections.
I see a lot of speakers trying to position themselves around a problem that the school's unaware of. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's there's new problems, and new problems pop up all the time, but new problems probably don't have budgets yet.
Yeah.
And that's important to talk about. That doesn't mean the new problem isn't a problem. social media, digital citizenship, those things are starting to have a little bit of budget behind them. We're understanding that these are problems and kids need to learn how to be, a citizen on social media as well and use it properly and all of those things. But, 10 years ago, I was trying to speak about that, but it just wasn't important enough to them yet. Yeah. But when I got my positioning correct and I started to speak the language of the decision makers and understand that they cared about chronic absenteeism, things like that. Schools are still businesses in a way. So if they don't have kids showing up, they're losing funding. So if you can show them that you can raise student engagement and get kids excited to come to school again and get people back in the door, you actually can show them an ROI on booking you.
Yeah.
That's...
I'm going to say this to the camera. Stop talking about you help kids with their self-worth and their self-respect. You help kids with overcoming imposter syndrome. Because like you said, Jared, they don't have budgets for that. Schools don't. I'm sure you do that when you tell your story.
Following your dream. Like, they just don't have a budget for that. It's too vague.
Yeah.
They have student wellness budgets. They have mental health budgets, social emotional learning budget, community outreach budget, student leadership budgets, like things like that are very specific. And you need to tailor and position your message around those things. Doesn't mean you can't help a student, reach their fullest potential through your framework and your guidance. Like, of course, that might be a byproduct of that, but that's not how you need to position yourself in the marketplace. Yeah.
If I were to start over, I would chat GPT buzzwords in education, if that's my audience. Yeah. Or if you're a corporate speaker, chat GPT, what are some of the key words that corporations are struggling with that helps them with their bottom line? And it could be burnout, it could be employee retention, but I would research the buzzwords of the space that I'm speaking to.
Buzzwords and budgets.
Yeah.
And state initiatives.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Texas has its own state initiatives. California has their own state initiatives. And these are the things that they care about. It's what they have money for specifically. And if you can align your program, at least the wording of your program, with those initiatives, then when you reach out to the decision makers, of course, you're checking a lot of their boxes that they have to check in order to continue to get this funding. So a lot of times we'll work with public health. So I'm working with public health in California. They have certain initiatives that they come into the schools to do. And if they can get me, who aligns with all of their initiatives, to go in there and do it for them, because they're not speakers. They have to do this, and usually they just pass out red ribbons or something for Red Ribbon Week for substance abuse. But they would much rather do something that would work and not just pass out a ribbon that the kids are going to throw away. So that's when they can pay a speaker, someone to be their front man in a way, and actually deliver something deliverable to the school on their behalf. And they'll say hey, we got 18 grand. What can you give me for that?
What also helps with that is finding your niche as a speaker, how you're presenting your niche. So I am a resilience expert. I really got certified in resilience. Yeah. And I had a school reach out to me. Hey, we have a resilience grant. Nice. We noticed that you're a resilience expert.
Yeah.
Help us.
Yeah.
So when you niche down into something, there are opportunities looking for you.
Yeah. They want to be everything for everyone, and they end up being nothing for no one. But if you niche down and you get to a point where you are the person for this thing.
Yeah.
So when they say these words, they think of you. They say resilience, they think of you. We wanted to get to the point where it's people say shift the culture, they think of the Culture Shift Tour. Of course, we just kept hearing this word for 10 years, and everybody's talking about culture, everybody's talking about shifting the culture. It's let's just do a Culture Shift Tour, and let's go learn everything that we possibly can about culture. So buying all the school culture books that I could possibly find and reading them over and over and over and just immersing myself in school culture. Went back to school for organizational psychology to learn about culture, building culture, leadership culture.
I think it's just being a life learner, being willing to be a life learner.
Because that's probably the point of life.
Yeah.
To learn. As a speaker, as an entrepreneur, what do you do in the slow seasons, and how do you keep yourself going and motivated?
Yeah. I think it's continuing to further the message. So like working on my content. Like right now, it's summer. It is a little slower for me than normal. Like I might do a conference here and there, but I'm getting back to reflective questions. So I ask myself like about me, like my life, because when I get on stage, I don't just want to preach to you about how to be resilient. Like I want to share with you some of the things that I've been going through that have made me build my own resilience. Yeah. I just feel like ever since I called myself a resilience expert, God's been giving me reasons to be more resilient. Yeah. And I have to be vulnerable about those moments on stage. So I'm getting deeper into my story. I'm getting deeper into my childhood. A lot of therapy, honestly, Jared. So that podcast, so that I can have these conversations. Yeah. But just perfecting my craft the best way that I can during the slow periods, because when it does speed up, like, you just got to stay ready. And I'm thinking about, like, Jasmine Sullivan. She's a singer. She had a concert not too long ago, and she was sick. And so you can imagine, like, if you're sick, you probably really don't feel like singing, especially when your vocal cords are affected. But she sang anyway. So singers sing, rappers rap, speakers speak, no matter what.
Because there had to be a moment in your journey that you were like you said, $1,000 the first year. There had to be a moment where you're like, okay, I think I've done enough. I've had enough reps. Like, it's time for me to get paid for this.
You know, I would say, like, I never speak for free. To me, like, content is currency.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did I capture the content? Did I get some referrals? Did it lead me to somebody who eventually will pay me? Like, I don't believe that even if they don't actually hand me cash on the spot, like, I don't speak for free ever. Yep. So I think if speakers have that mentality, you don't ever speak for free.
Yep. All right, so as we wrap this up, what is one resilience practice that every speaker could do to stay ready for opportunities and challenges? Like, as soon as they're done watching this podcast, what is something that they could go do to start today?
This is something that I learned from Next Level Speakers Academy. Like, make a list of people in your network, like in your phone, who are educators or maybe event organizers, and reach out to them and just send them a voice note. I learned this off of, what's his name? Brandon. E.T.'s right-hand man. Yeah. And he said, like, just send a voice audio. Hey, I was just thinking about you. You know, I've been speaking. Let me know how I can add value into your business or into your organization. It's just like a reach out and touch the people that already know you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming by today.
I appreciate you, Jared.
We'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, so Tia Banks, www.tiabanks.com. You can follow me on IG, The Tia Banks, Instagram, Facebook, The Tia Banks, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm on all of that, baby. Let's go.
All right. Thank you.